This is the refreshed 2024 Volkswagen Atlas. It is a surprisingly large and feature-rich three-row family crossover. In this video, we're going to check out all the features, take it for a drive, and then put it to the test. Right now on Driving Sports TV. The Volkswagen Atlas has always been a bit of an outlier in the three-row family crossover segment. It's bigger than most of its rivals, and it is absolutely packed with great features. So why isn't this German offering more popular? Let's dig in. The model we're testing today is the fully loaded 2024 Atlas SEL Premium R-Line. The standard engine across all Atlas trims is now a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder that produces a peak 269 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. It's connected to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it powers all 4 wheels thanks to 4Motion all-wheel drive. This is a continuously variable system that uses a multi-plate clutch to send power from the front to the back as conditions require. EPA rates economy at 19 miles to the gallon in the city and 25 on the highway. The SEL Premium package includes all the stuff you'd expect in a top-tier trim. You get leather seating, 3-zone climate controls, digital gauge cluster, multicolor ambient lighting, surround view camera system, and the IQ Drive semi-automated driving assistance system. Because this is an R-Line, they've spruced up the bumpers and the trim. Prices you see it here with no extra options, $53,805 US, including destination. But I think I might have found out why this isn't more popular. It might have something to do with that price. Still, let's continue the video and see if the value equation improves. Volkswagen has never been shy about using massive wheels, and here we have another set. These are 21-inch alloys, and they are wrapped in Bridgestone lenses. Not great for trails. Yeah, it's an all-season radial. As equipped, the Atlas can tow up to 5,000 pounds, which is pretty good for the class. In the back, we get an epic amount of cargo capacity. 20.6 cubic feet behind the third row, 55.5 behind the second, and 96.8 cubic feet with all the seats folded flat. Under the floor is a subwoofer, and then under that is a temporary spare. That's right, the Atlas has a perfectly flat floor, which means you can sleep in it. Oh yeah, this is like so easy. I'm 6'1", I got tons of room back here. This is nice. Now let's see if an adult can fit in that third row. Easy to get in. What do we got? Oh, yeah, lots of leg room, lots of knee room, plenty of headroom. I get cup holders all around me, and vents. The one thing I am lacking back here, though, are USB sockets. That's something that Kia and Hyundai are very good to do, putting those features back here. Oh, well, let's look at the second row. So here's the rub. When I was in the third row and I put the seat forward, it actually slid the whole thing forward several inches, which gave me a lot more legroom back there. If I were to just sit in here, I mean, it's not bad. This is workable. However, if I want more legroom, it's definitely going to come at a penalty to the people in the back. Once inside, I got my own aircon with multi-stages of heat. I get USB-C sockets. I also get a window screen, which is nice. And of course, a really nice panorama sunroof. So this is all good. I also get a fold-down armrest. Ooh, this looks nice. Right, up front. Well, this definitely is a different look. I mean, if you don't like what the Koreans do and you don't like what the Japanese do, you know, try the Germans. They definitely have a certain feel here. I mean, with all the wood tone and, of course, all of this piano black. And they've also simplified everything, and I'm not sure I love that. It's powered up. We have a digital gauge cluster here, which can be configured with a variety of different looks. We also get over here a large touchscreen. And that actually brings me to the thing I don't like about this vehicle, the fact that they have reduced the buttons to being almost non-existent. Yes, you still have buttons on your steering wheel. You get adaptive cruise on the left, you get configurations on the right. Ooh, and is that a heated steering wheel? 3 stages of heat on the steering wheel, love that. But over here, we get 4 buttons: assist, menu, mode, and climate. And then you have to use the touchscreen for pretty much everything. Even my seat warmers, let's just say I want to turn them on, I hit a button, it then brings up another screen, and then I hit a button. I hate it when I have to hit multiple buttons for a singular function, especially when it's right there. It could just toggle, but it doesn't. Now we also get maps in here, which is nice. A lot of manufacturers are starting to not include maps. Let's try a quick search here. Find the nearest Starbucks. Keep it easy.
Sorry, the system could not connect to the internet. Please try again later.
So it's an internet connected system, and for whatever reason, whatever carrier they're using, it's not here. I'm on AT&T, I always have good signal here, so I'm guessing it's one of the other carriers. We get lots of, configuration options here. We can look at everything. We can look at data. This is such a convoluted menu. Oh, and I hate the red here. They do let you change your color, and the color is actually tied into the drive modes, of which there are many. We can go from eco to comfort to sport to custom to off-road to snow. And it's interesting that if I do sport, everything turns red, including my gauge cluster. I hit power back up again, and it shows I'm still in sport. That's kind of neat. Now let's see if we can do the same for off-road. So it's off-road, everything is kind of this yellowish greenish. Stop, power back up again, and it all goes back to blue. So it now thinks it's in comfort mode. So I guess some of them stick on a restart, some of them don't. I guess if you own this, you would learn one way or the other. But that really comes down to it, just that everything is on a touchscreen. I'd rather have drive modes as a button that you could, like, while you're driving, you just reach down and hit. I don't want to have to be like, okay, drive modes, okay, which one, that one, okay. It just doesn't seem as intuitive or as efficient. And of course you want efficiency while you're driving because you don't want to be fussing with all this stuff. Now this screen also provides a rear view camera. You get a surround view, although it's not very big. You don't get to see very far away from the vehicle. Some, like Volvo, have a huge expanse around the surround view. This one's a little small. And the camera quality is marginal, but I can look backwards, and then when I shift into drive, it shows me the front, and I even get tracking lines, which is cool. So that's neat. Oh man, these colors, I just don't like this menu. I think it's just ugly. These colors are so contrasty. They're more contrasty than I would really like, and they all look the same. Basically, when you just glance at something, everything looks the same. I really like how Honda color codes all of their icons. So that's like, communications are blue and nav is green. I don't remember the exact colors, but that's the basic concept. And I think it is a good thing to be able to do. Painting everything one color, it's just, that doesn't help with my ability to see things quickly. Seating position, very comfortable. I get lots of options here. It's a very big, broad cabin, lots of room. You will note that this does have, of course, collision mitigation. It has blind spot warnings, has rear cross traffic alerts, and adaptive cruise, which they use some fancy names to describe, so I'm expecting good things about it. Overall fit and finish, I think it's pretty good. Let's put this back into comfort mode and take it for a drive. So here we are finally inside the 2024 Atlas. And this is a big crossover. I think the only one larger in this class is the brand new Toyota Grand Highlander, and it is an inch longer than this one. This is a big boy. So why would somebody pick this instead of all the other great options? I mean, we are living in the golden age of 3-row family crossovers, if there was such a thing. The Kia Telluride, Hyundai Palisade, Grand Highlander from Toyota, even the Subaru Ascent these are all very good family crossovers. So what does the Volkswagen bring to the table? Whenever I say Volkswagen, the infotainment system thinks I want to ask it a question. Stop that. So what do they bring to the table? Well, it has, different looks because it's a Volkswagen. Can't say the name or the infotainment will prompt me again. It has a nice interior. I like this wood trim. I like the overall aesthetic. Don't love the piano black down there, which I've complained about a lot. I think a lot of it has to do with the details. I mean, yeah, the broad strokes are here. You got a lot of room in the third row. You have a sliding second row that makes things very convenient. You have cup holders. Well, you have a few cup holders. You don't have as many as the Subaru Ascent, that's for sure. And you have a lovely panorama sunroof at this trim level. But things you don't get USB sockets in the third row. You don't have an infotainment system that you want to use. I really don't like this setup. And you have a ride that's actually pretty stiff. I mean, this isn't the most comfortable ride in this class of car. I mean, this is the kind of class of car where you want to more glide across the road. You don't want to be like feeling every bump. And then of course there's the powertrain. This is a 4-cylinder turbo in a vehicle of this size. Now, that's not so bad, but when you compare it to the Kia and Hyundai, those have V6s. The Honda Pilot has a V6. The Grand Highlander from Toyota, that has a turbocharged hybrid 4, so you definitely get a lot more power out of that system. Basically, it's kind of a weird powertrain for the size of this vehicle. And yeah, it has plenty of oomph, but it also whines and complains quite a lot. I mean, you're just cruising up a small hill. You can tell that it's trying really hard. In this vehicle, it's fine, but I think the other powertrains are better. And I think really that's what it comes down to in this class. You can't whiff on something like that. You can't whiff on something like charging sockets in the third row for little Billy. You gotta hit all the points because this class takes no prisoners. So let's talk about this infotainment system. They've done away with physical buttons for pretty much everything, and I hate it. Furthermore, they require multiple taps on the screen when I really think a single tap should do. So for example, seat warmers. I just want to turn my seat warmers on. Oh, well, clicking there actually brings up a submenu of climate, and now I got to look at, okay, that's the warmer, so I now have to move my finger a couple inches to the right, tap through my options, and then tap back. Oh wait, I can't just tap back on the seat and make it go away. I need to find the X now, and now I find the X, and now it goes away. It's little things like that where you keep your eyes off the road way too long. How hard would it be to have a button that I toggle, that I can physically feel? Yeah, that's definitely the better way. So why do they bother with this? Well, it saves money. Less buttons, save a cent here, save a cent there. It's definitely not about the user experience, and that's for sure. And they have buried pretty much everything, even drive modes. I have to click mode, and then I go into this menu that has 6 different options. Right now we're in comfort mode. Let's see how things change up if I go into sport. Oh, I didn't click quick enough, so the menu went away. Okay, sport. Now everything turns red, including the little highlight LEDs in the dash here, which, yeah, it's kind of a cool effect. Now the gauge cluster you can modify between a number of different views. I think my favorite is the one that has the R on it, and of course they are color-coded to whatever drive mode you're in, so it's very easy to see what mode you're in addition to, of course, the way the vehicle is responding. And let's see, does this feel any different? Yeah, thrust comes on a little quicker. That tap in on the throttle is definitely more aggressive. Does it alter the all-wheel drive system? Yeah, I can kind of feel a little more power going to the back instantaneously. It's kind of a little bit more forthright about putting power back there. And this is a Borg-Warner-based system. So this is, what people used to refer to as a Haldex system. That's what we have here. Uses a multi-plate clutch in the middle to shift power from the front to the back. Realistically, you're never going to get more than 50% of power to the back wheels. You might see numbers that say higher, but that's really a theoretical. Like, If both wheels in the front have some level of wheel braking happening to shift power left to right, then that point there might be more power getting shifted to the back. Anyway, realistically, you're never going to get a rear wheel drive feel with this vehicle. Whereas Toyota's Grand Highlander actually does modify their powertrain using an electric motor in the back to give you more of a rear wheel drive feel. Crossing the bridge here, vehicle feels massive going across that. Boy, nothing will make you feel the size of a vehicle than going across a narrow bridge. You hear this? Now, some of that sound, to me, comes off as synthetic, but it's not good. Yeah, don't like that. So they definitely enhanced the interior sound effects when you're in sport mode, because I did not hear that before. Now let's go back to mode and we'll switch back to comfort and we'll see if that awful, awful sound goes away. Yeah, it sounds much better in comfort mode. That's weird. Now there are other modes here. There's of course a snow mode, which will help cut power, so you're not just spinning your wheels on snow and ice. And then there's also an off-road mode, which we will test out in just a little bit. So this actually has adaptive cruise control. Set that there, set. I don't like how the menus, like when you're toggling between the different types of adaptive cruise, it takes a moment before it comes up and tells you which mode you're in. So you end up spending way too much time looking at the gauge cluster and less time looking at the road. Again, these little things where I'm like, why did they do that? Just make it come up instantly. I don't want this smooth fade in, smooth fade out. I like that on a fancy computer screen in a fun program. I don't like that in a car that I'm supposed to be driving. With travel assist selected, it will then read the lanes, keep me centered, pace the vehicle in front of me, and it does a pretty good job. I'm actually pretty much dead center here. You can see the steering wheel is actually, when we go around the corner up here, you'll see the steering wheel is actually doing the driving here for me. And this is really good for, of course, cutting down on fatigue on long trips. It's not really a fully hands-free system, so I'm going to put my hands back on the wheel. Seats are comfortable. I've been driving it for about half an hour and I feel pretty good. They are heated and cooled, though you have to mess with the menu up there, which is not fun. But we do get power adjustments both on the driver and passenger side, which is nice. Yeah, I just kind of want a little more with this thing, you know? Well, let's see if that little more comes in trail capability. Now, you don't usually think of an Atlas as being an off-road machine, but they do have an off-road driving mode. So we are absolutely going to test that over at our Peninsula Proving Grounds. So let's see how well this thing does when the going gets a little bit trickier than a paved road. So now I'm on the gravel lot and I'm going to try a fast throttle on a slippery surface to see if visually you can see power shifting from the front to the back on the outside. Now, some vehicles really don't allow wheel slip, and in that case, you're not going to see much on the outside. But sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I'm surprised. Mode we'll try is, let's do sport mode, kind of give it the best case scenario to slip up here. So let's see, 3, 2, 1, and thrust. Yeah, I could really feel that traction control really clamping down on the situation. So now we're going to see if one of the other drive modes is a little bit more effective at spinning those wheels. Okay, we're in drive. Actually, I have the transmission in sport, and I'm going to switch mode to off-road. Let's see if that changes anything up. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, way more wheel spin. Okay, okay. I see you, Volkswagen. I see what you're doing here. So that mode, the off-road mode, is the fun mode. Nice. So now we're going to continue on and try a little power shifting left to right action on our easy off-road course, which we call the Fun Forest. This is the easy course, but it is still challenging for most vehicles. At least it'll let us visually see how power is shifted left to right. It'll also kind of give us an idea how these ground clearances are shaken out. So first we're gonna have a challenging climb up here. It's gonna take some power off the wheels, and then it needs to kind of struggle up. Once it gets in here, we use a little gravity to go down into another hole, and then we go left and right. Now, when we go left and right, the wheel will lift off the ground and it won't have any traction. What we should see there is the wheel spinning, brakes grabbing, and then the power shifting to the opposite side of the vehicle. Presumably a wheel with grip. So let's see how this does. One of the most confusing things about this Atlas for 2024 is they've lowered the ground clearance from 8 inches to 6.3, presumably to give better fuel economy. But they've also got rid of the V6. So while everybody else still has a V6 and has decent ground clearance, because capability is king now, you want something that you can kind of do everything with. And here they're making it less capable in situations like this. Now, we're going to run this through our fun forest. This is going to really show me whether or not that height difference makes a big difference. I'm thinking it will. We're going to listen for scraping. Also look for power shifting left to right. First, we're going to go up in comfort mode. Go into drive. Oh, parking sonars are kicking in. Does that turn it off? Okay. This is the most confusing infotainment system. So at this point, you can see those wheels shifting power around. Boy, this is a big vehicle. Listen for scraping. Okay, we're just spinning wheels at this point. So now I'm going to switch it from mode comfort. I'm going to go into off-road mode. At this point, it should be more aggressive at shifting power left to right, as well as shifting more power to the back. Now, do we see that wheel braking happening? I'm certainly feeling it. It's going click, 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 click as those brakes kick in, and boom, up and over we go. Man, this thing is huge. Let's clean those windshields off there. Parking has come back on again. You can see this is going to be a battle. So right here by the deadwood tree, I'm going to dip a wheel in. This is mostly gravity, but we will lift a wheel in the process. Whoop, there goes the wheel. Now, of course, we're on 21s here, so I have to be really careful not to scratch anything. Also, wow, this thing feels so wide going between these trees. Trying to climb out. Will it give me enough power? Yep. Parking things keep kicking on. Oh, this is so wide. As we continue on, we're gonna lower that front right wheel into a ditch. Which lifts the back wheel. We're turning. And then the left driver's side wheel is going to go into another ditch, which means we're going to seesaw. Yeah, just like that. Now this is a real challenge for these type of vehicles, shifting enough power to the back to push us out of this hole. Yeah, Haldex doing good. Takes a moment, figures it out. Called it Haldex. It's actually Borg Warner now, otherwise known as 4Motion on the Volkswagens. I'm just easing the throttle. Gets through it no problem. It's actually a really good system, and I really didn't scratch that much, which is kind of impressive. Okay, we have one final obstacle, and that's to get over this little lump here. This lump is the pre-test before we go into the log crossing. We're gonna scrape. No, we didn't scrape at all. So is that 6.3 inches? Really 6.3 inches? I'm thinking it's not, because we didn't scrape anywhere in there. Huh, pretty good. Normally, I wouldn't take a vehicle with only 6.3 inches of ground clearance over our log crossing, but we didn't scratch at all on that last bit. And so that's telling me that I think possibly they're sandbagging their ground clearance here, or they're being super conservative. So let's go ahead and line up here. We have a whole bunch of logs here laid into sand, and then there's some rocks there as well too. I want to turn on the front camera. How do I do that? Where's the front camera? It comes on automatically a lot. I'd love a button for it. No. No. You have a front camera. How do you turn on? Oh, for the love. Assist systems? No. No, I want front camera. Yeah, I don't want those menus. Just give me vehicle. I really hate this system. This is the worst. I just want to turn my front camera on. Is that not even possible? It appears to all be automatic. There's no other buttons here that I can hit that'll turn something on. So, right. I guess we just drive over and wait for those cameras to turn on all by themselves. Wow, hate that. So we're going to, I guess that there's a log up here. I don't know. I have a front camera, but I can't use it for some reason. Bump over here. I'm going to listen for grinding. I don't want to rip anything off the undercarriage here, obviously. You know, getting a pretty good crawl ratio with this thing too, actually. It's not bad. Ease a little power on. The off-road mode is like legit on this thing. It is really good. Man, throw some all-terrains on this thing. You'd be hauling. Yeah, no. Oh, there's a bump. But it's not too bad. Just a little bump from the spring compression. Okay, you know, they say 6.3 inches of ground clearance. I think it's better than that. So as we continue around, we are going to have a little bit more dips in the sand, but we're done with the logs. Got to watch for that tree on the right. I would love a surround view camera, which I know you have. I know it's here somewhere. I know it's in here somewhere. I just can't find it. Ends of the stalks? Nope. Fine, I'll just use my eyeballs and mirrors. Oh man, now it turns that thing on. You go away, I don't want you. Within a couple inches of that tree. Oop, can't watch my front there too. Okay, well, I think that's the biggest thing I can take through that gap. We're gonna probably rub here a little. Yeah, just a little, it's just sand, no big deal. So that's the 2024 Volkswagen Atlas R-Line. Overall, not a bad vehicle. The off-road capability is much better than you would expect. The on-road manners could be a little bit better. Not a fan of that little Turbo 4. And also just all of this infotainment, the lack of buttons, really kills this vehicle for me. You know, if you want amenities and an infotainment system that makes sense, Kia Hyundai. The Telluride, the Palisade, great vehicles. If you want to have more off-road capability, go with the Honda Pilot Trail Sport or go with the Subaru Ascent. Both of them cost less than this specific trim, and they're way more capable off-road. This one has a lot of good capability and a lot of good things, but it just misses the mark on so many little things that I think it's still going to be, you know, basically this is a vehicle for people who really want a Volkswagen. And that's okay. If they're happy with how many they're making, if you get this, you have a vehicle that's not going to be as common as all those other options. Because really the number of those other options that sell compared to this one are astronomical. This thing is definitely a lower rung in the overall sales volume. And you know what? That's okay. Options are good. You're not going to hate this thing if you're okay with this. And the interior is really nice. The seats are super comfortable. It's got a lot of good things going for it. But it does cost more than $50,000 as you see it here. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. Make them for you. Hope you enjoy. And we'll see you again right here real soon. So why are we not tearing it up with some rally style slides? 21-inch wheels. Yeah, they'll get scratched like you wouldn't imagine.